Some of us have been coming out to Algonquin for years. This was my second trip. Some of the guys had been around 8 to 10 times already. And somehow, none of us had really seen a moose out there. They said that they saw one swimming across the river one time, but that was it. Then David comes on his first trip. And on the first morning, in the first 30 minutes, we see this. So yeah, David got pretty lucky. But seeing a moose was only one part of this trip. Over the next few days, we paddled from lake to lake, carried our canoes through the woods, camped miles away from the nearest road or people, and learned a few things that can make a trip like this a whole lot better. So if you're thinking about doing your own backcountry trip in Algonquin, I'm going to show you what it's really like. And I'm going to give you 5 simple tips that can make a trip like this a whole lot easier. Let's go to Algonquin.
Let's go. Let's get close. How well do moose swim?
Very well.
Awesome.
Seeing a moose this close is incredible, but this is also where you have to be careful. Moose may look big, slow, and kind of goofy, but they can move fast, and a full-grown moose can weigh more than 1,000 pounds. We did not want to find out how fast one could run through the water, no matter what some of our friends asked. Algonquin recommends to stay at least 30 meters away, even further if you see a mom with a baby, so we kept our distance. Before this trip, we knew we needed to pack light, because in Algonquin, you have to portage. And if you've never heard of that word before, it's really simple. The lake ends. The next lake hasn't started yet. So you get out, pick up everything, and walk. That means the canoe, your backpack, food, and all your other gear. Sometimes you only walk for 50 meters. Sometimes you walk for hundreds of meters. And every extra thing you packed, now you have to carry it. The canoe alone can weigh around 50 pounds. Then you have your pack, and then the group gear. So we kept our clothes really simple. 1 set for paddling, a dry set for camp, extra socks. That was about it. It helps out when the water is low too. The less weight in the canoe, and the higher the canoe sits, and the easier it is to move.
Yet again, we have another perfect example of walking our kayaks. They need exercise too.
Here's something you should know before coming here. Your feet are going to get wet. Getting in the canoe, wet feet. Getting out, wet feet. Walking along a muddy shore, definitely wet feet. So don't spend the whole day trying to keep your shoes dry. Wear shoes that are made to get wet. You want something light, something that drains or dries fast, and most of all, something with good grip, because wet rocks and logs get slippery. Flip-flops are not going to cut it out here. But here's the part I wouldn't skip. Bring a second pair of shoes and keep them completely dry. When you get to camp, take off the wet shoes, put on dry socks, and put on dry shoes. After being wet all day, that feels amazing. And throw some moleskin in your first aid kit. If you start getting a blister, you'll be glad you have it. If this video is helping you plan your own trip, hit the like button and subscribe. It really does help the channel. I'll put our full packing checklist in the description. So if you're planning your first trip like this, you can see exactly what we brought.
Nice.
This is something I really started to understand once we got out here. Sometimes you don't have to rush. We could finish a portage, drop our bags, sit on a rock, and then do nothing.
Oh, I'm so scared for my phone.
And those became some of my favorite parts of the trip. Because the goal isn't always to see how many miles you can paddle. Look around. You're in the middle of the Algonquin. There are lakes everywhere. You can hear loons across the water. And sometimes there isn't another person anywhere around you, unless you brought some. At sunset, this place is incredible. And it's easy to think that you always need to be doing something. But you don't. Stop. Sit down. Look around. Enjoy where you are. You worked pretty hard to get there.
We're about to have a big ass fire. Yeah.
At the end of the day, we were tired. So once we got to camp, everybody had something to do. Get the fire going. Start dinner. Filter water. And before long, we could finally sit down. And this was probably my favorite part of every day. sitting around the fire, eating dinner, drinking a little whiskey, talking, laughing, and watching the lake get dark. Just us, the fire, and the lake. There is one extra thing I would bring. A small camp chair.
Thanks for moving my chair.
Get one of those lightweight chairs that packs down really small. And yeah, you have to carry it, but after paddling and walking around all day, sitting in an actual chair instead of a rock or a log, totally worth it. Algonquin was one of those places that really did live up to the hype. And if you're thinking about doing your first backcountry canoe trip, don't overthink it. Pack light, bring the right shoes, give wildlife plenty of space, and don't spend the whole trip trying to get to the next place. Take your time, because some of the best moments out here happen when you're doing absolutely nothing. Sitting by the fire, watching the sun go down, seeing a moose on the shoreline, or just floating across a lake with nobody else around. That's what I'll remember about Algonquin. And if Algonquin is on your list, let me know in the comments. If you've already been, tell me the one thing that you wish you knew before your first trip. And if you want more trips like this, places you can actually take your family and have a real adventure, subscribe.